Disclaimer: the following program features language not suitable for all audiences, and the expressed opinions found within this program are a reflection of those who feature on the PopCulture Effect podcast. Welcome to the PopCulture Effect. I'm Rockin Rob, and on this show, I bring my closest friends together to talk about all the news happening in our pop culture world around us. Welcome back to another episode of us sharing all the lovely things we've been able to find that we truly care about. I've been joined by my lovely friends, Gemini.
Hello.
All right, and joined by Menace.
Did it not pick me up?
No, it was just a slight delay.
Oh, weird.
I was gonna address it and be like, oh, here we go again. One for the two for the gold, 3 for the money. I'm gonna cut that out. Jesus Christ.
You're terrible.
Anyway. Got another week filled with anime, much like I've done for the past couple weeks. And first, I would love to get into an anime which needs no introduction, but of course it does, because this title is long. Even given the worthless Appraiser class, I'm actually the strongest. Now, this is a ridiculously sounding anime, and it's even more ridiculous when you look into the actual contents of the anime, as this is essentially worthless boy gets unlimited power. And it's honestly some of the funniest shit I've seen in a bit. And I love all the character designs. They're very bright, they're very positive, and it feels like a very nice slice of life style dungeon crawler, where it's more based on just, oh, the main character has an objective. Well, they're gonna do it anyways because they have all the tools that they need. Or maybe they need a tool, but they're still gonna kill it because they're already OP. But the real crux of this anime that I think is much more important, because a lot of the story beats, a lot of the character writing, a lot of the plot points are very formulaic and very typical, but I think the real message of the anime is just about getting through hardships with a support system, because this whole anime was surrounded by the main character Ein being a worthless trash picker of an appraiser in a dungeon crawler world where he would just be constantly abused and neglected by pretty much everybody. He'd be seen as worthless trash scum. But eventually, through finding people who appreciated his kindness and who reciprocated that kindness, he was able to grow and become quite the capable adventurer. Now, obviously, I looked through the first 6 episodes. It's got a lot of good charm to offer, and there is at least one character they introduce as a season-standing villain, so I'd love to see how they interact with the cast, but we've got a lot of interesting characters and a lot of different character interactions. Some are really funny, especially when it comes to some of the proposals that go on within this anime. It's actually really, really funny when you really get into the details of it. But yeah, this is really cool. You should definitely check it out. God, it's got such a long, crazy ass name. I'm probably just gonna call it the Worthless Appraiser class anime in the title for simplicity's sake. And yeah, this was kind of a different style, as usually I appreciate the art aspect and the character writing, whereas this is more of the symbolism and the meaning behind the art that really touched more to me on a personal basis. Yeah, I won't get into the details of any spoilers, but let's just say the main character gets saved by a tree girl. Yeah, she's a tree girl. And then her mom essentially steals one of his eyes and obviously gives it back. But yeah, it's just really funny and really crazy with how these interactions happen. They play it really straight, and I think that's kind of part of the charm of it. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to discuss when it comes to, even given the worthless appraiser class, I'm actually the strongest. God, I can't get over how long that name is. But it is your typical reincarnated as a slime anime where it's just this super hyper powerful main character given all the abilities, but it feels like he's actually worked for them through the trials and tribulations that he goes through the montages that they show. But again, I truthfully think this is just going to be yet another anime that gets lost in the vast sea of animes. It's not a higher tier, top tier anime, much like one of the ones I'm going to be talking about later on in this episode, Dr. Stone. Now, I just want to say the way they use the Appraiser ability in this anime is quite diverse, because it essentially supplies the main character with both bullet time and moment-to-moment intel to avoid any type of damage. And this is just honestly the coolest way I've ever seen this ability used in anime. And as a quick addendum to last week's Hard Eyes video, I just want to say I did not know that Josh Rubin directed that movie, and to be honest, it makes me love it even more. But yeah, I think it's time I send it back to me and my friends as we discuss Captain America: Brave New World. This is quite the interesting week we got for ourselves, a lot of different things, but at least for the first couple sections, it's gonna kind of be talking about somewhat of similar, at least like baseline topics. So I'm gonna start us off with the Marvel news, because I just got to sit down and watch the new Captain America: Brave New World movie. And first, I just want to say that a lot of people at the start, when this movie first came out, they were dogging it in the reviews, and it took a couple weeks for the movie to circulate for people to actually recognize that it was a pretty decent movie. I'm not going to say it's an amazing movie. I'm not going to say it's like to the same level as some of the other great Marvel movies we've had, but it was really good. So I know, Menace, I know you are familiar with the comic books, so like this movie is the start to the prelude into Secret Wars and Doomsday. So this is the starting point. This is essentially our Iron Man from the start of the MCU.
So I just don't know how they're gonna do it.
So essentially the main thing I've heard online, which I kind of agree with upon reflection, is that this movie is tie up loose ends the movie rather than it being Sam Wilson's Captain America movie. Like, they spend a lot of this movie just wrapping up loose ends, tying things up, and just kind of addressing a lot of the ongoing things that have been happening in the MCU recently, like the celestial body that's in the planet, like General Thaddeus Ross, the president of the United States now. Him and Japan have this like conflict over who gets to claim the mineral that's inside this giant celestial body, which I'm so glad they're finally bringing it up. Like, I know Eternals was terrible, and they're never gonna bring them up probably ever again, but that's the one thing they kept, the celestial body, and now it's important because they've introduced adamantium. They actually made it a thing. It's real.
I mean, the Celestials were kind of always off in their own thing, besides the comics when, like, the Celestials would, like, start to come out of Earth. There wasn't really, at least I haven't heard much other about them, to be honest.
Honestly, it's been like this really bad dangling loose thread that they've had in the background for a long time.
Well, I know the show part. It's more the comics. Like, you don't really see much of them. They're more of a niche kind of.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like in the comics, Celestials kind of just get lumped into the upper echelon of god beings, and it just kind of gets really complicated because they do a lot, but they also don't do a lot at the same time. But either way, to get to what they mean to this movie, essentially, Captain America, Sam Wilson, is, I don't necessarily want to say he's hired under General Ross, but they are working together, and
he's working with the U.S. government like Cap does.
Yeah, exactly. But it's more so he's following orders, whereas I feel Steve Rogers, yes, he followed orders, but he still tried to follow what was right, and what was like.
That was more of, I kind of hope they don't do this again, because that was kind of Steve's whole character development, is that he was this fall in line good soldier, and then once they brought him out of the ice and he started realizing, hey, not everybody is who they say they are, people are still lying, people are still being bad, I need to do things my own way, is when he started, like, it wasn't until like Civil War where he started to actually like question things.
Yeah, and basically the whole character behind Sam is that he is trying to emulate that. He is somebody who's fighting against the system to try and fight for the little man and show the corruption that's underneath.
So my question is, does it feel like just every Cap movie after Civil War where he's just fighting against the government again?
I'm not gonna say no, because it kind of just feels like that. Like the way,
like if you were to play Civil War, but just the Cap scenes, and then play Brave New World next to each other, how similar do you think it would feel?
From an action standpoint, somewhat similar, but obviously with Wilson's new vibranium wings that he gets from Wakanda, he is able to do a little bit more action-wise, and his character does kind of divert from what you would expect from Steve Rogers. So I do feel like this version of Captain America and the one from post Civil War, they are treated as two different characters. It's just the whole plot of the movie is Sam trying to see if he even is able to live up to the legacy of being Captain America, because
I thought that's what the whole show Captain America Winter Soldier was about.
Yeah. Well, Captain America or the Winter Soldier and the Falcon show was the prelude. Soldier, yeah. I don't remember the order of what the names are in, but yeah. That show was kind of the prelude into what we are getting now, which is, well, Cap is now in the position of Captain America. He is on his own, doing his own thing.
But my whole thing is I thought the whole show was Sam's journey, and even the show ended with Bucky being like, yeah, you're ready to wield it, like you earned
this. But that's what I'm saying. This movie is essentially saying, okay, well, now let's see what he does with the shield. But
is he still struggling to is he still oh, should I be Cap? Because I thought it kind of defeats the whole premise of the whole show, because that was his whole that was what he kept saying the entire show. Am I really ready to be Cap? Am I really it kind of just defeats the whole purpose of the show.
Actually, I think his thoughts on his doubts of being Captain America is more rooted in him choosing not to take the super soldier serum. I feel he has grown past the whole do I deserve the shield, but through the action set piece that we get to set up the plot of the movie, we get a lot of great action. It's great to see how fluid Sam feels as a Falcon Captain America, but we don't see him be completely perfect, and that means people get hurt, and that's kind of what puts him back in his partner, which I can't remember the name of, but he's essentially the new Falcon. He is put in harm's way. He's injured in a battle, and Sam puts that responsibility on himself because he couldn't be as good as Captain America or Bucky because he didn't take the super soldier serum.
Okay. See, that specific situation, I understand. That's kind of the normal hero dilemma, is you can't save everybody.
Yeah. And
what I'm more thinking is the main thing that's been plaguing Marvel right now isn't the action scenes, isn't the CGI, even though some CGI is bad. It's mainly the story. The stories have been flat. They've been repetitive. Obviously, the hero's journey is something that has one of three endings, and obviously you don't want the superhero to lose, but you can't just tell the same story between two different characters, one show, and 3 movies of, am I good enough to be Captain America?
Yeah, no, I hear you. Definitely.
You had Steve doing it, and then you had Steve going against the government, and now you have Sam doing it in a show, then redoing it in a movie and going against the government. Come on.
Yeah, they make it different enough, but I think that was kind of the point, is to use similar elements from Captain America so that way the general audience can connect more with the movie.
If they wanted to wrap up loose ends, I don't know if the whole government thing is part of the wrapping up loose ends.
Oh, it's literally half the movie is just, we're seeing geopolitical discussions on who gets the adamantium, and then the last 20 minutes of the movie is actually when we get the Red Hulk Captain America fight.
Wasn't Civil War all about the vibranium?
Yeah, that was about the vibranium. Now we have the adamantium.
Exactly. So this is just the same shit again.
Yes. So I get what you're saying with how similar this movie is, especially with all the other similarities we're getting in the MCU. Everything feels like the same shit, kind of just repackaged.
It's more of, with how bad in the public opinion Marvel has been as of late, they kind of need to change things up, and they had the perfect chance with Sam to do something different than Cap goes against the government again.
Yeah, I agree. But at least from what we're seeing through some of the lingering points that goes through the movie, we may see the start of the new Avengers, hopefully, and that will be the basis for tackling Secret Wars and Doomsday and whatever Fantastic Four is going to throw into the mix whenever that happens.
You think they're going to get him as Johnny again?
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
I know we saw our Johnny for the new Fantastic Four movie, but
Oh wait, no, he died in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah,
it would have been cool though.
That was supposed to be technically the Johnny from the original Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, which were all bad, but hopefully this one's gonna be better. But to get back onto the point of the Captain America movie, I hope that at least going forward we see that they actually try new things. Like, yeah, the whole point of this movie was, oh, Sam Wilson is Captain America. This is a whole new thing. But like you said, it's the same movie. It's the same plot points. Yeah. It's the same.
I did want to kind of bring it out
formula
more. Yeah, I did want to kind of bring it out more though, because talking about Fantastic Four and stuff, because you said this is leading up to Secret War, which is mainly Doom. Do you think they're gonna bring Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom somehow to? Oh,
you're saying to like through
to the main line? Yeah,
I think that's gonna be what Secret Wars is. Secret Wars is gonna be because should I at least address the spoiler from the post-credit scene?
So wait, I mean, if you really want to say it, then yeah, put a spoiler warning. But first, I had a theory.
Go ahead.
What if the whole Fantastic Four movie and them obviously before the movie even releases, with one trailer they already announced that this is a separate universe. What if they did that on purpose and Doom wins this movie?
I think my prediction for what's gonna happen is Galactic like I believe that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom is the Doom that oh wait, no, he's gonna be in I was gonna say he is the Doom in mainline, but okay, so what I'm thinking is that because Galactus is gonna be a really big force within the Fantastic Four movie, I think him and possibly the rest of the cast, like the Fantastic Four and Doom, they're gonna find a way to stop or to at least save themselves from their universe's destruction, because we've seen a lot of imagery.
Are you talking kind of like how the Fantastic Four are actually doing in Marvel Rivals right now?
Yeah, pretty much. So a lot of what's going on, from post-credit scenes with Doctor Strange, they have been talking about incursions. And one of my favorite comic books is when they addressed the incursions and when we got the Illuminati. That was the greatest comic book I can remember ever.
We already got that, and that was already dealt with.
What do you mean? Incursions haven't been dealt with?
No, incursions haven't been dealt with, but the Illuminati who deals with the incursions is all dead.
Yeah, they are all dead. So that is sad. I am sad that they are all dead. But the incursions, you know what this means. Yes, we're going back into the multiverse, but we may even see Avengers teams fighting other versions of themselves.
See, like, I understand everybody's tired of multiverses with everybody doing it. I'm not tired of the Marvel multiverse. I know Marvel's the one that started this whole trend, but that's because they were the ones to kind of coin the multiverse. Marvel and DC were the ones to coin the multiverse.
I love the multiverse just because we get a lot of interesting, diverse stories, and I think that's what they should just keep doing with What If. But for their mainline movies, I think that this whole Secret Wars Fantastic Four deal that's going on, and I say deal just as situation, not like anything other than that. But yeah. I think that that's going to be the MCU's way of condensing their multiverse into a single universe, into a single Earth. Because that is the plot of the Secret Wars comic that is going to be based, or Secret Wars is the one. Secret Invasion was the Nick Fury series. God, I hate that all these names are just getting so confused. Anyways, but I think that's what's going to happen. We're going to see a shit ton of incursions. We're going to hear about a lot of universes that are going to start dying off. And this is going to be the point in time where, one, we get this final big this is going to be our end game for the multiverse. This is going to be our Infinity War end game, where it stops it. It ends it. And yes, you could keep doing other multiverse shit if you want to through series, but for your main movies, stick with one consistent story. You know?
I can see that because I've obviously in more recent years I've consumed a lot more DC than Marvel. But from what I can remember, isn't Galactus essentially the anti-monitor of Marvel?
Essentially, he's basically the last survivor of the previous incarnation of the universe.
Yeah, and he's unending. He has an unending hunger to devour life.
Which means
isn't he like multidimensional? Can't he just pop into a universe and
he can't, but if circumstances are provided within the movie, like say if a Beyonder type being known as Franklin Richards gets born, and his reality warping powers destroy the planet enough where they have to say, okay.
I don't think they're gonna show I don't think they're You're talking about Sue and Reed's kid, right?
Yeah, at least from the interviews, they are parents. So we may see either Val or Franklin in this movie.
I don't know.
But I think that's the perfect way to bring Doctor Doom, the Fantastic Four, and Galactus into the main MCU without having to worry about the whole where have they been this whole time. Just have their universe die, whether it be an incursion or some ongoing threat with Franklin and Galactus.
I have an idea. Well, what if Galactus attacks, right? And since this Pedro Reed, I love that they got Pedro to be Reed.
I love it too. He's so perfect for the role.
But I hope he can get the anger down, because Reed has an anger problem.
Oh, I hope we do. I hope we see that. I hope we don't see any.
I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm not saying going that far as in what everybody knows is in the comics.
I don't want to see the maker here.
Reed just has a general anger problem when it comes to failure. When he cannot figure out a problem, he gets angry at himself and lashes out. That is how Reed is.
And dude, you know what theory you just gave me? Running with that logic, what if Reed realizes his universe is dying, whether it be due to incursion or some other thing, so he seeks out Galactus, trying to find a solution, and then that leads to getting...
What I was getting at is, I think Galactus is the main villain, like normal when it comes to Fantastic Four.
He's not a cloud. He's not a cloud this time.
He wasn't a cloud in the other one.
In the second one that they tried to do.
In Human Torch. I'm looking at him right now on my screen. That's why I said it. In Fantastic Four 2, he was a cloud when they looked up in the sky, but when Silver Surfer flew up, it was actual Galactus. It was just how they viewed him as like stars because he was so giant.
No, you're right. But now we get. I
think what you're thinking more of as a cloud was Dormammu.
No, I was thinking about the giant swirling cloud that was in the sky, like you were saying with the stars and shit.
Okay, but I just know Dormammu did the same kind of thing. But,
where is he?
He's technically his choice was either go back to his own chaos dimension or be stuck in a time loop.
Oh, right. No, but see, like, I'm really excited for this Fantastic Four movie.
Wait, I need to get my thought out.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I believe that Galactus is going to be the main threat, and they are going to figure out, Reed or whoever, they're going to finally figure out our world is dying. We need to figure out a way to get everyone to safety, and they're going to cause an incursion by teleporting their world to the main timeline.
Oh, God, you know it'd be hilarious? What if Deadpool just shows up and he opens the portal to the TVA and he's like, hey guys, you want to get out of here?
I mean, that'd also be great. I would love that.
Deadpool could be the reason that every universe comes together.
Deadpool in charge of the TVA just gives them a get-out-of-jail-free card for just about anything, because it would fit, because Deadpool's just that guy to show up and be like, hey, I'm feeling nice today. You want to get out of here?
You know what they're gonna do? Loki Season 3 is just gonna have the Deadpool logo slapped on top of it, and it's just gonna be a season of Deadpool.
It's gonna be Deadpool freeing Loki.
Not even freeing Loki, just going around checking out the multiverse.
First episode is gonna be him just popping in next to Loki.
he just pokes him. He's like, "You alive?"
No, okay. Kind of getting off topic, but there's one thing I want to say about Deadpool before we go back to what we were talking about before. He needs to get his damn teleporter belt.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. That was kind of one of the cooler things about him, but I'm sure.
I think now that he's got,
they're avoiding it because they want to eventually introduce Nightcrawler, and they don't want to have two Bamfers.
Well, I think more of what it is he kind of now has the TVA tech, so that kind of works the same exact way.
True. But to get back on this is kind of what this conversation has grown into. I started this by saying this is like Captain America: Brave New World is the Iron Man of now. It is the start of the next 10 years of movies, and that includes Fantastic Four, Secret Wars, Doomsday. Granted, we're getting those a little bit early since we took 10 years to get from Iron Man to Endgame, but I understand Marvel wants to get on with their lives, get past this whole multiverse shit, because obviously it has diminishing returns. It's not gonna be as good as it was with No Way Home. I'll be kind of honest with you.
That's why the comics have reset so much. They start with one universe, and then eventually the tree breaks, and then they gotta restart, or some other cosmic thing happens and resets the multiverse.
So whether it be through cosmic interference with Galactus or Franklin Richards, whether it be through the ongoing incursions, I feel like there's going to be, they're going to use it as a reboot.
So
they're going to reboot the Marvel
say
Universe.
one thing, because I don't want to downplay you here, but with the end of Loki season 2, doesn't that technically mean the incursion stopped?
No, well, actually, spoiler warning, because now I can actually get to the post-credit scene of Brave New World. The main villain of the overarching movie, which I'm not going to get into because I don't want to spoil that part of it, he continues that thread of incursions because him, with his heightened intelligence, understands that they are not the only heroes defending an Earth. He essentially asks Sam, what are you gonna do when you have to defend your Earth from the others? So incursions are still going to be an ongoing threat and an ongoing risk in the following movies. That's what I think Secret Wars is gonna be. It's gonna be all the incursions happening at once.
They're hinting at heroes versus heroes. Heroes versus versions of themselves.
Which would be cool, because then we can have excuses to have all of our old reprising heroes. We could see Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man again.
You just want member berries, Bobber.
Well, just for this one movie, because this is the only time we'll ever be able to do something like this. Like, there'll never be incursions again.
But then what are they gonna do after this? Like,
they're gonna reset it, and they're gonna go back to hopefully more grounded
they're not gonna go
stories.
back to the. Oh, I thought you were gonna say back to the main crew. I was like, they're definitely not gonna. They could go back to the main crew if it resets. They could go back to the main Avengers crew of like Iron Man, Cap, not Falcon, Cap. I do love Sam. I hope he gets more movies.
I really like Sam as Captain America. He is so cool with the vibranium wings, with the way he uses the shield. No, I need to say at least this one moment from the movie.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, he tanks a missile straight on. Like, he meets a missile dead on in the sky. It's the coolest shit.
Like, what I've seen from clips and from the trailers, he definitely feels, in fight scenes, he feels more like Captain America than Steve did. Because Steve, in the comics, is a tank. He's the one that will come out, block an RPG with the shield, grab another one with his other hand, and throw it back.
Right? Like, this, like, no offense to Steve Rogers, Captain America, but he did kind of feel like a martial arts expert, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, when, in the comics, when he got out of the ice, S.H.I.E.L.D. trained him in just about every combat style they knew.
Yeah, and then he used that to just throw a frisbee around.
Yeah.
No, but the way that they kind of leave the links to, like, the new Avengers, like the new Falcon that we get is cool because we get to see that passing of the torch from Steve Rogers to Sam Wilson, but also Sam Wilson to the new Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
And we get some teases here and there about Falcon being offered the opportunity to bring back the Avengers, which I'm skeptical about. I don't know if that's the best idea right now.
I kind of think it is, not from a movie perspective, but in the story of the time, like how the timeline's going, their world's kind of going to shit. They do need a team to kind of like inspire hope.
Well, yeah, but my question is, who do they have? They have Ironheart, they have Sam Wilson, maybe...
Ironheart?
Well, that's the new Iron Woman person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Her suit was shit in the first trailer, but it got a lot better in the preceding trailers.
I actually haven't seen many of the trailers. I've mainly been seeing clips, but I haven't seen her.
It's cool. So I think I'm just trying to think of a lineup because like Thor is fucking off with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, he's with the Guardians and with his child, I guess.
Oh, wait, no, you're right. No, he's with the child. The Guardians of the Galaxy are their new group, essentially, because Peter Quill went back to Earth. No, but like, I'm just trying to think of who we'd have as a lineup, because we'd have Ironheart, Sam Wilson, maybe...
That's what I was going to say, because I don't think they're going with any other, like, at least with the original crew, we got, like, the OG lineup of...
Ant-Man?
We can see I'm not sure, but Ant-Man and Wasp kind of were like not done, but they kind of wanted to slow down after their movie.
Oh, we're definitely getting Shuri as Black Panther, though.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be cool to see.
You know, it's gonna frustrate you because of the member berries, but they're gonna do that sweeping round the group shot in a circle where they show all the new Avengers.
When they do that I don't care. Like when it's a new team and they're doing a nostalgia factor of like, yeah, remember when we did this with the old team and you got to see everybody? That's some cool shit. But when you're just bringing up like old characters for the sake of bringing up old characters, just to be like, hey,
remember
this time you'll never get back again. But when it does those sweeping shots of the team, it's like, hey, remember when we did this with the old team? Here's the new team now.
That's true. We've definitely gotten way off topic on this, but I don't care because like this movie is.
I'm really interested to see what they'll do with the lineup. I hope, for one, because he is a returning and leaving member of the Avengers, I hope that Vision does come back.
Ooh, I completely forgot about Vision and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, Doctor Strange is actually going off with, at least in the comics, who was his wife.
Handle the incursions.
Yeah, who was his wife for a moment, for a little bit. I can't remember what her name was. But so he's off in the multiverse, which means he'll probably just show back up towards the end if it is incursion based.
I'm just really excited to see where I'm finally interested in the MCU again, honestly. And I know it has to do with multiverse and incursions and the shit they've been drip feeding us for the past 7 years of post-credit scenes. But
see, here's the thing: when it comes to multiverse, if it's Marvel, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
as long as you take your time and tell a good story.
And I can say this was a good story. Again, I would have loved it if it wasn't half geopolitical conversations and more action pieces and more.
I feel like they kind of added that in. I feel like they kind of added that in due to the times, but I'm not getting political here on the podcast.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where the MCU goes. But to move things on, unless you got anything else you wanna.
No, I'm just interested to see what they're gonna do with the lineup, and I'm actually kind of excited because it feels like we're not just getting I understand what before with getting the OG crew, like I was saying before, but I do hope that they just I want to see what they can do with picking their own heroes this time.
Right? No, I agree. I want them to both follow the comics lines, like have these incursions and have these movies that are based on comics, but also try to do new things. Like, dude. Yeah. I don't want to say what DC does, but
I want them to keep...
that are different. Make a comedy, make a horror movie, make different types of content.
I could see, but keep it like
line
you don't
it up
want
with the character that you have.
You don't want
on screen.
You don't want like a Howard the Duck movie and make it a horror movie, right? You would want if you're gonna put Howard the Duck into Marvel, you want it to be a comedy movie because that's how Howard is.
Yeah, or as a completely unrelated example, Superman. You have him be gritty and dark and kills people. Nobody in their right mind would ever do that.
I mean,
Zack Snyder. Wait, who the was it? Zack Snyder?
No, wait, you're saying that. There's a very famous line of comics where Superman does just that.
Yes, but that was because it was Injustice. This was supposed
exactly.
And what I'm talking about is Batman v Superman.
Superman wasn't dark and gritty and killed people. What?
He wasn't? I thought,
no.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm thinking of the color tones. It was a very muted, gritty, visual movie.
He did none of that, actually.
What? I swear I remember that movie being very dark and dreary.
It was dark and dreary, but that's because it was mainly from Batman's perspective.
No, fair enough. But anyways.
It was fine.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. But I do get what you're saying. You need to match the type of movie and the genre of movie with the character you want to.
Yeah. What I want them to do is stick to the continuity that they have. They have a good continuity for their own universe that has been even mentioned in the comics. That is its own universe. You have rules to play with now. You've been acknowledged by the. I know they're part of Marvel, but like comics will always be boss, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
You've been acknowledged by the comic universe as having your own rules and established things.
Please use them.
Yes, so use them. Take your own heroes. Suria's Black Panther is a perfect example. Give her own, rising up and just roll with it. You don't have to worry about backstories right now. You are building your own backstories with these characters, with Sam, with Suri, with the new Falcon. You have these characters that are already established or are being established. I want to see what they can do with their own team.
I agree.
Is my main point.
Now, I know I gave a spoiler of it at the beginning of this episode, but yes, I will be talking about Dr. Stone as they are halfway through season 4, but by the time you see this, they'll have a couple more episodes out. But I have watched the first 6 episodes of the season. Their trip to the Americas is absolutely wonderful. We get to see Senku all the gang with some returning characters, which I really appreciated, as they hunt for corn. The most important element of all. But to be clear, it actually is really important because it is the basis. As you get corn, you put it with nitric acid, and bada bing bada boom, you get revival fluid, which helps de-rockify the people of Earth. But for those of you that don't know what the heck I'm talking about, Dr. Stone is an anime about a young scientist who gets awoken after 3,700 years of being petrified in a rock statue, and he uses his knowledge of science to rebuild the modern world. They've grown quite a bit in the 3 seasons that they've had, but they are nothing in comparison to the rival science group that they meet once they reach the Americas. Now, I won't give too much away. Obviously, the titles pretty much give a lot away, but Dr. X is going to be the main antagonistic force of this season, and oh my gosh, I have fallen in love with this season. I thought it was great to see Senku's smarts battle Tsukasa's might. I thought it was really cool to see how Senku would fight off against the petrification users with the way he was able to be quite crafty, but this by far is going to be the most strenuous use of science v science. We're going to see a lot more crazy shit. Hell, we even saw some crazy shit in a couple of the first episodes of the season with gunfire being used, with there being new machinery we get to see. It really feels like a giant step up from where Senku is now, and I bet he would just sit there in awe to see what has been accomplished on the other side of the world. I'm excited to see how this goes as I'm an avid fan of the manga. Granted, I will not be giving away any spoilers like I usually do. I try to keep it spoiler free unless there is a specific spoiler I want to discuss. But aside from that, I want you all to go check out Dr. Stone, as it is just getting better. It is seeing no signs of losing its interesting veil, and I keep getting pumped to sit back and watch it. Granted, there's yet another anime that I've been excited to sit back and watch, but you'll have to wait for next week to hear that, because next week I will be talking about Dragon Ball Daima as it is wrapping up its final episode. Granted, again, due to timing, you will have already seen it. But yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to discuss about Dr. Stone Science Future, their season 4. It is by far one of my favorite new gen animes. I absolutely love the way they treat all their characters, the way they treat the world around them, and it is just really nice to have Dr. Stone around again, and I'm just excited to see the rest of the season, honestly. But yeah, the one thing I do want to mention as a bit of a spoiler, I love the Dr. Taiju joke. It is so hilarious, and I can't wait for it to pay off, but it's just honestly been the best part of this season, aside from, you know, just the overall camaraderie and group progress that they've all made. They actually feel like a proper unit rather than being some stragglers joining in because they're kind of being swayed to join in. We actually feel like they have grown and trained together and actually have melded together as a team. We'll see how that fares against the mega upgrade of science that the Americas have to offer. But that's pretty much everything I have to discuss when it comes to Dr. Stone, and I just hope it keeps going until the manga ends. I hope this anime never stops until they reach the end point, because this whole anime is just about the preservation of humanity, and I really would hate to see any part of this anime and the schedule behind it be undercut or delayed, because this is one of my favorite animes, and I just can't stop gushing about it. But at this point, with me rambling on, I think it's time for me to send it back to me and my friends to end this week's episode. That's everything we have for this week. If you're checking us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're checking us out on CJSW, make sure to check out all the lovely other content they've got over there. Haha, Tyler, I got to it before you. And now I'd like to say thank you to all my friends. Thank you, Tyler.
Oh yeah, always a fun time.
And thank you, Gemini.
Pleasure as always.
And we will see you in the next one. Farewell.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Future Robbie's a bitch.
That's not okay.
I had to get it in.
Yeah, we didn't do one this recording.
Alright, I've started the audio, but this time we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna actually start the recording soon. Like, it's not gonna take like 5 minutes to jump into it. So
It's already taken 20.
Okay, shut up. Anyways, God, my brain just like actually imploded there. Like, I actually felt my brain get sucked up into itself. Okay,